Hello everyone and welcome to round 7 of the URL-GT3 Championship from China. We are at Zhuhai circuit and let's look at the qualifying results right away. Tony Jukic in the McLaren took pole position with a 1:37.8, and judging by the times, of course, you can see that it was held in wet conditions, so very tricky to get a good lap in. Robert Horvat was right beside him on the front row. Further down the field, it was Anze Rast taking the AM Cup pole position in P13 overall, and there were 4 drivers that didn't do any qualifying laps for this race. So let's have a look at the highlights of the race. Alright, so here we are, Tony Jukic on the left and the red Audi of Robert Horvat right beside him. Bit of wheel spin for Tony. Can Robert take advantage of that? Seems he's in front indeed. 3 wide there as well. Florian Kutz, Michal Klisch, Greg Metcalf, Manuel Liguori. Very close, but Robert takes P1 and he gets out in front. Let's see if he can keep that position in front of Tony Jukic. Here is the whole field. Manuel Liguori there having an off. Bit of a spin there as well from Farhan Ahmad Tajuddin. Let's see where they end up after the dust settles. Greg Metcalf looking at Florian Kutz's 3rd position, but no moves yet. Peter Bacchus already made it up to P5 after starting in the middle of the pack in P10, I think. So he made up some good ground. And Alex Scott here is also in the mix. Miguel Santiago Carao, he started all the way at the back and he now passes Anze Rast, the AM Cup leader in P12 overall. Olivier Duplessis and Andrei Golubnishi. And here Philippe Poupard going for the pass on Florin Manolace, a bit of a bump. Florin goes wide. And Manuel Liguori started in P3, but he's now battling here with Vlad to get some positions back. Will they go side by side through the last turn of the first lap? Big risk, but they make it. Bit of a bump, but fair move, and Mandio takes the position. Here we are finalizing the first lap as well for the leaders. And it seems that Peter Bacchus has some superior pace than the 2 guys in front, Florian and Greg. Looks at the inside, both Florian and Greg lock up their wheels. So it's gonna be very tight through the next couple of turns for sure. Will Peter look at the inside? Seems he does, but he slots back in behind. Everyone is very close. So lots of action. And here are the AM Cup drivers as well, battling very hard for those hard-earned points. Florin Manolace in the Mercedes, followed by Fabio Bartolai in the Porsche. And Fabio is looking quite good here. Let's see if he can make the pass on the front straight now. Closely followed by Manuel Liguori as well. So maybe he can take advantage. Fabio goes for the inside, completes the pass, I think. And Vlad goes a bit wide behind, but Fabio, yes, indeed, he completes the pass. And at the end of the same lap, Mandio, will he go side by side again? Yes, he will. And they keep it clean, both Florin and Mandio, so good respect and confidence of these 2 drivers to make it through there side by side. Meanwhile, in front of those, it's Fabio with Philippe. Anze is a little bit wide. He lost some ground, made a small mistake it seems. So Fabio, will he be able to make a move here on Enze? Goes for the inside. Oh, Enze has to stay off the grass. Hits Fabio slightly, but they get it slowed down. So Fabio will now hunt down Philippe Poupard for the AM Cup lead. Meanwhile, Maino Liguori looks at the inside and breaks deeper into the corner, and he also passes Enze Rest for the moment. Very, very close, but fair racing here throughout the whole field. Vladimir Jelicic also very close. Here is the battle for the last podium spot. Florian Kutz locks up a bit. Greg doesn't have too good traction, and Peter Backus seems to have the advantage. He's at the inside, on the inside of the last turn. Will they do the same as Mando did 2 times? No. Greg leaves him space. Goes for the ideal line, and it seems, yeah, it pays off. He gets the slipstream, and let's see if he can keep it in front. Peter brakes slightly later. Big luck up from Florian in front, but Peter takes P4 from Greg Metcalf. Oh, a bit wide from Florian there. And behind Alex Scott, Evgeny Leonov and Michal Klisch are also very, very close to each other. Will Peter take another position this lap? Alex Scott has a bit of a look. Evgeny has a look at Michal's place. So here Peter is on the outside, they're side by side. Get it slowed down to the over-under. Yep, Florian just overshot his braking mark there to make the apex and block Peter. So Peter Backus up to P3 with his teammate in P2. That's good points for the team. Let's see if they can claw back and threaten Robert for the win. He's not too far down the road as well. Peter ended up behind Florian again after a small mistake, but here he retakes that position after Florian goes a bit wide into the last turn. For a small server glitch, and now it's Florian at the back of this train of cars. Miguel Santiago Carao, he made it up to P7. Meanwhile, he's right behind Michal Klisch, and will he go around the outside here of this right-hander? Very slow corner. Yes, he does. So P6 for Miguel. He's now right on the tail of the three-way battle for 3rd position. Sten Mikkel Olsen versus Yevgeny Leonov, I think. Or is it Andrei Golubnishi? I think it's Yevgeny Leonov, who fell back a little bit. And he's really harassing Sten here for P9. So to get well into the top 10. Sten has to leave some room. Bit of a bumpy pass, but legitimate pass from Yevgeny Leonov on Sten Mikkel Olsen. Meanwhile, Tony Ukic around the outside for the lead of the race. Will he keep it? Robert keeps it tidy and puts his car alongside. What follows is a fast right-hander. Oh, of course, unfortunately they touch, and Robert is slowing down. They have a considerable gap to Peter Backus already, and I think, yes, Robert will let Tony through. He thinks it was completely his fault, and he will let Tony through for the win, for the first place. Sorry. Here's Alex Scott passing Evgeny Leonov, and exactly the same move a couple of laps later on Sten Mikkel Olsen. So Alex Scott picking up the pieces after an incident in the first few laps. Then here it's Enze Rast, first in the AM Cup, but having a bit of a spin here. and that puts his 4 other contenders right back with him. Philippe Poupard looks at the inside, but he slots in behind, and Fabio Bartolai again battling with Florian Manolace, forces him wide a bit, but he completes the pass. Tony Ukic in P1, then Peter Bacchus, Robert Horvat. He fell back after a mistake. Then it's Reinhard Berger in P4, Florian Kutz in P5, Yevgeny Leonov in P6, Michal Klisch in 7th, then Miguel Santiago Carao, Greg Metcalf. They had a bit of an incident and fell back a bit. Then it's Manuel Liguori, Alex Scott seems to have a bit of a problem. Then it's Sten Mikkel Olsen, Andrei Golubnishi, and the rest P14, and leader in the AM Cup Philippe Poupard in P15, Fabio Bartolai right behind those, and then Florin Manolace and Farhan Ahmad Tajuddin. We lost Vladimir Jelicic and Olivier Duplessis due to computer problem. There is the battle just before the pit stops, and Greg Metcalf is here behind Miguel and behind Philippe Poupard, who is being lapped, and that's always a good opportunity as a following driver to take advantage of any gains you can make, and it seems Greg has a good run here, took some time out of Miguel. Miguel misses the apex by a long margin, big margin, and Greg goes for the inside. I think he has some good overspeed and will complete the pass for P7 currently. These two drivers have already pitted, but all the rest will be pitting right now. And here is how they came out of the pits. Reinhard Berger didn't change tires, one of his strategies, and he came out on top. Tony Ukic and Peter Bacchus will be in P2 and P3, and that gives us the end result of Robert Horvat's pit stop. He's in the pits right now. Tony Ukic, he will pass Robert, but for Peter Bacchus it will not be so easy. Here they are. Cold brakes, cold tires for Robert, so very difficult to keep Peter behind, who goes around the outside and completes the pass for P3. Then it's Michal Klisch in P5. He also didn't change tires, so let's see if he can hold on to that position. And it's Florian Kutz. He did change tires. Then it's Greg Metcalf, as we saw, passing Miguel Santiago Carao, P7 and P8. Alex Scott in P9. Then it's Yevgeny Leonov. Manuel Liguori, Sten Mikkel Olsen, and here is Anze Rast as well in P15, leading the AM group. Philippe Poupard, Fabio Bartolai, and Farhan Ahmad Tajuddin in last position at the moment. Tony Ukic closed down the gap after a couple of laps to Reinhard Berger, struggling on worn tires, and Tony will complete the pass for P1, and Peter Bacchus wants to follow suit. He wants to threaten his teammate for the win and take a 1-2 finish for the team. He has a bit more difficulties to get past Reinhard. It's of course a more difficult section to get past. very hard on the brakes. Oh, and a bit of a mistake from Reinhard. Big lockup. And Peter goes through for P2. So a 1-2 for the BNT competition drivers. And the rest here. Will he go? He will go through. Past Florin Manolace for P14. So a good driving of these two, and Florin will return the favor a couple of laps later into this hairpin here. He retakes his 14th position. So still close driving and good driving after the pit stops. Philippe Poupard and Fabio Bartolai were also still battling in the second stint. Fabio has superior pace out of the last turn. Oh, they get very close there. And completely side by side. Let's see who brakes later. Seems that is Fabio. Can he hold on to it? Yes, he does. So P2 in the AM Cup for Fabio, followed by Philippe Poupard. Greg Metcalf here in the closing stages of the race, having a bit of a lockup. And Alex Scott was looking very good throughout the second stint. Got close to Greg, and they will go side by side here. Very fast right-hander. Let's see who gets out on top. Greg has the inside. Those rear tires were spinning, but Greg still has the inside and defensive line. Bit of a touch, but Alex gets it done. Yes, I think so. Yeah, he gets out in front for P8. Nearing the end, Peter Backus closed down the gap drastically to Tony. Very close, but it started raining in the last 3 or 4 laps, so very tricky on worn tires, worn dry weather tires, and Tony made a slight mistake, went wide into the last turn, and he will not be able to threat Tony Ukic anymore for the win. So Tony will take the win at Zhuhai, and with Mikko Korkiakowski not driving, he will take a big chunk out of his championship lead. Peter Backus in P2, so very good result for the McLaren drivers. Then it's Reinhard Berger. He managed to hold on to P3. Robert Horvat in P4. Then Michal Klisch. As I said, he didn't change tires, so probably struggling even more than all the other guys. And Florian cut the gap drastically. Let's see if he can get by on the very last lap of this 60-minute race. He's looking good, but Michal will be doing everything to keep him behind for a good finish in P5. Let's see. Around the outside here, we saw Miguel do it, but Florian goes for the inside. Now they are side by side. It seems that Florian, yes, he has the overlap, but they're side by side again. Small kink in the road. But Florian will get out in front. Last lap pass for Florian, so that's very good. P5 for Florian, P6 for Michal, then P7 for Miguel Santiago Carao. Greg Metcalf had a bit of a mistake, and he let Miguel back past Alex Scott, as we saw passing Greg Metcalf in P8. Greg himself in P9, then Yevgeny Leonov. He will finish in P10. Mando Liguori in P11. Then it's Sten Mikkel Olsen, Andrei Golubnishi, Florin Manolace in P14, and then it's Anze Rast. He will take the win in the AM Cup, just in front of Fabio Bartolai and Philippe Poupard. Farhan Ahmad Tajuddin was finishing in P18. So here are the results. You saw all the standings. Very tricky race, very close race. As you can see, 12 drivers on the lead lap, and a very tight battle for the AM Cup honors as well this race. So that's it for round 7 of the URL-GT3 Championship. Next week we will be going with our GT1 car pack to Phillip Island. So see you next week.